Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is just thought I'd do this introduction to a video that you're now watching on YouTube. But I did film this originally, and for some reason there were problems with it, with both the audio and the visuals. So I'm having to film this again. So it's not going to be exactly like the original one that I filmed, but hopefully it will be better. I'll keep this as brief as possible. As we can see there in the background, the Neo Geo MVS arcade cab with SNK versus Capcom, which absolutely loving at the moment. It's a recent pickup. I intend to do a video on it soon, in the not so distant future, because I picked up quite a few MVS games recently, so I will do an updated collection video on that. But I want to talk about this little thing here. Now, my original video, this was shrink wrapped and everything else, but I've since done the unboxing. So kind of filming this in reverse because of the problems and everything else. But as we can see, this is the Analogue Mega Sg, and what this is, it's like a clone Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive console. They offered it in 3 different versions. It was Japan, the Europe version, UK Europe, and the USA model. And I went for the USA model just because of the different colours actually on the console. The power button mainly, it's a nice reddish colour, so I went for that one. But as we can see, yeah, pretty nice box. So I'm going to do an unboxing of this and then test out the games. Incidentally, this isn't like an emulation device, like a Pandora's box or RetroPie or something like that. It has got one built-in game that was a previously unreleased game, and they've got that on here, so I'll test that game. But also it has a cartridge slot, and it enables you to play the original Sega Mega Drive and Sega Genesis games from all regions. You can play the USA, Japanese, and the European released Sega Mega Drive and Genesis games. And it doesn't matter what version of the console you got. All of the versions, you know, I picked the USA one, but if you pick the European or the Japanese, they will all play all of the games as far as I'm aware. It's not emulation, it uses some other hardware technology, so it doesn't emulate the games, it plays them off the actual cartridges, which is a nice feature. Why did I get this? I do have other ways to play these games. I have the original console and everything. So I have a Model 1 and Model 2 Sega Genesis consoles. I got this because of the convenience. You can just plug it in, it's straight away, it's HD, and if I want to capture some game footage, I can. It doesn't mean to say that I'm not going to try to capture game footage using the original consoles, because I am. I've got another device coming through that will enable me to hook up the original Model 1 and Model 2 Genesis to this device, then to the Elgato capture device, and capture gameplay footage. But it's good to have options. This was quite pricey. I think I paid maybe a couple of $100 US for this with shipping. It was expensive to get it here. So yeah, it's quite pricey, but yeah, we'll unbox this. Well, I've already done that, but you'll watch the unboxing and the gameplay, and I hope you like the video, guys. If you do, please like and subscribe. Okay guys, here's the Analogue Mega Sg, smaller box. It's got quite a bit of weight to it. Quite a plain box really, it's just black all over, apart from this little sticker here that's on the front. So let's get this open. Okay guys, let's have a look at the actual console. This is, I went for the American style, the US style. They offered 3 different versions, the international, the Japanese and the US. I'm from the UK originally, but I wanted something different. I like the red on the front here, which the US version offered, so I went for that. That's the, assume the power button, the reset. Here we have just some writing there that explains that it's NTSC and PAL, 16 bits, and the HD output options, 1080p, 720 and 480. On the front we have the original Sega Mega Drive control ports, a headphone socket there, which is nice to have. On the back, the HDMI port, the AC adapter port there, and if we look on the side, I initially thought this was an SD memory card slot, but I'm assuming that's where you connect the Sega CD to. See on the back, it's almost like rubber or something, but it's got a nice feel to it, a nice weight, and I really like it, to be honest with you. I like the design of it. It's nice, small and compact. It will sit with my other sort of mini consoles, at least until I get the Sega Mega Drive Mini that's released shortly. I will pick one of those up, but I wanted this. This is the At Games model, so as you can see there's a big size difference there, but I prefer the smaller size, and it's got a weightier feel, so it basically feels like just a more expensive product, which it is. It's a lot more expensive. I can't remember off the top of my head how much I paid. Bought it from the US site, but I think it maybe cost me a couple of $100 with shipping and everything. But yeah, so if I compare that with the original or Model 2 Sega Mega Drive, there's a big, let's just do that, yeah, there's a big difference there, but again there's like a similar weight, so I don't know what the hell is in this device, but it's pretty good. It's great you get the Master System adapter there. So I did used to own a Sega Master System back in the day. That was my first console. So it would be good to maybe pick up a couple of the games that I had for that, so that I could play on this system. I will be testing this with the original Sega Mega Drive pads, but I've also got these 6-button controllers for obviously the games that require that. So these are from Hyperkin. Picked up a couple of these recently because the original Sega Mega Drive and Sega Genesis control pads, 6-button ones, were very, very pricey and just difficult to get, and the ones that were coming up on the auction sites were in bad condition. So I thought I'd grab a couple of these Hyperkin ones. So we'll test these out as well, because I've not tested these as of yet, but they're meant to be pretty good for the games that require more than the standard 3 buttons. But yeah, this pad, this Hyperkin one, compared to, again, the original Sega Mega Drive, again it's smaller, but I like it. So we'll test that out as well. Hey guys, I filmed the unboxing of this Analogue Mega Sg console, and then I realised that there were a few things that I hadn't discussed, which I noticed afterwards. So I thought I'd just add this bit on. So please excuse the crudeness of the video. But yeah, anyway, I said earlier that I think this was the US version because it's got the red and the white. If we look on the box here, we can see that in fact this is the USA version that I actually got. We can see that there. They offered this in 3 versions, which was the UK or Europe version, the USA version, or the Japanese model. And the Japanese had blue and red, and I was going to go for that. I definitely wasn't going to go for the UK model because it just had grey and white, but I just like the red, so I thought I'd go for that, to be honest with you. Also, another thing I got wrong, this is an SD memory card slot. If you can see there, it might not pick it up. Just there, I don't think the camera's going to pick it up. It does in fact say SD. You can tell it's an SD card slot, which I said, and then I changed it for some peculiar reason. I said that you attach the Sega CD ROM attachment to it, which you don't. That's actually here, so you do that, and then that's where you attach the Sega CD and then you use the spacer, because apparently it doesn't fit correctly underneath, just to prop it up a little bit, I assume, in the actual dock of the Sega CD. So yeah, there's that. So that just clips straight on. There we go. Also, note here that this is the USA power adapter, which I've got no use for, but I wrapped it just to show you. You can see the little symbol there, the little analog symbol that they use, their logo. So that's actually a nice touch, and it's also in the on the cables as well. I'm not sure if you're going to see this, but yeah, it's also in the cables. So that's a pretty nice touch. I mean, they could have just bundled just a generic cables in with this, but they didn't. They actually, and on this one, actually says analog there. The bottom of the console, it's textured finish. You can see that. So that's quite nice as well. Does, yeah, finger marks on there, so I'll have to get a duster and wipe them off, because my OCD won't allow that at all. In fact, that's playing on my mind now. Also, guys, because I'm not going to use the US adapter, I can't use that here, I needed to find another power brick, basically, to plug this power cable into, this USB power cable. So I looked through all the chargers and everything else. I was just going to use any one of them, and then I noticed it said in the manual. So if it's going to focus, it says there only use a 9 volt 2 amp USB power supply. So I was looking for details, because I don't usually check these chargers, so I looked and none of them were the correct one. But then I found my phone charger, and this is for a Samsung Galaxy S7, this phone, and as we can see, it's actually the correct 9 volt 2 amp. So it's going to focus. So I thought, you know, yeah, I'll just use this one. It saves me having to purchase one, and yeah, it works. It works absolutely fine. So that's just a little pointer for you. Also, guys, we'll test. We'll just test some cartridges. So this is Mortal Kombat. This is PAL. It just goes in there. Fits in quite nicely. I know some people on YouTube lift it up by the cartridge to see how firm it is in the slot, but I'm not going to do that. And let's try a US cartridge now. So this is for the Genesis. Again, slot straight in. And we'll try a reproduction cartridge. Pretty snug, but yeah, goes in really well. Okay, we'll test the control pad. This is an official Sega one. So let's just plug that in there. Brilliant. And this is the Hyperkin one, 6-button controller. Now, I have already, because I'm adding this bit on last, I have already connected this up to the TV and captured the footage and used these controllers. And I must say that I just prefer the original controllers. I've had a lot of third-party controllers, and you know, some real cheap and nasty ones where this gets stuck. Now, this doesn't get stuck, but it is pretty stiff compared to the original one. It definitely feels different. I'm not sure whether it's just this will become more worn and easier to use over time. I'm not sure, but I do recommend this control pad. If you're going to pick a third-party one up, it's certainly better than the other ones that I've picked up. It's quite comfortable and everything. But yeah, I might still try to pick up a genuine original Sega Mega Drive 6-button controller for this. But yeah, there's the unboxing and just a quick overview of the system. And keep watching the video, guys, because the gameplay test is coming up.
Okay, I've connected the Analogue Mega Sg up to the capture device, up to my laptop to record some of these settings and the gameplay. So here we are, we're just having a look at the settings menu. As it started up, you notice the little analog animation. So here we have all the resolutions that you can select. By default, it's on 1080p 60 frames. I think we'll leave most of these options on the default settings, to be honest with you. Here we have the actual screen settings, so 4x3 for 16:9, 4x3 for 16:10. And also the height here. Don't really know too much about these options. I did look online to see what the best settings are, so we'll leave it on that. Here we have the scan lines. By default, it's set to sorry, that was the scalars. Here we have the scan lines. So by default, it's on no scan lines, but I generally like all my games to have some scan lines, because I still enjoy playing on my arcade machines. I really like the scan line effect for these older games. So I know a lot of people don't care for them, but we'll test scan lines with and without anyway. Here we have the advanced menu options. Just having a quick flick through here. I don't know what half or most of these options actually do, to be honest with you. I'm just glancing at them at the moment, just showing you guys what there is, what you can actually adjust and tweak. There seems to be a lot of display and audio settings and other options that you can configure for this device, which is always nice to have. But I'll play around with these another time. There you had the region settings by the look of things. I'm just quickly flicking through so you guys can see what's here. I'm not going through in any real depth. Got all hotkeys and everything, startup options. Yeah, here's the region settings. Just great to have all of these options, and there we had the actual, I think that was the firmware revision on the system. can save the settings if you've made any changes, or store to the factory defaults. We'll go ahead and save this. Put cheat codes in as well. Apparently this is Game Genie codes. And you've got the Analogue Mega Sg controller test screen. So just to make sure all your buttons work of your Sega Genesis controllers. I'm actually testing this with a 3-button original Sega Mega Drive control pad, and also the Hyperkin 6-button controller. Okay, here you can have you could run the cartridge or play this other game that's on here. So this is actually was a previously unreleased game, as far as I'm aware, and they've actually included it on the system to play directly on the system. And as you can see, it's pretty good. It's a run and gun shooter game with some platforming elements. Reminds me a lot of the old style sort of Contra, Super Contra games, and also one of my favourites, Cyberlit on the Neo Geo. Reminds me of that sort of thing. Looks pretty good for a Sega Mega Drive game. Just a nice added bonus. Knock down those platforms. Very good at games like this, not very good at these old school games, to be honest with you. I use loads and loads and many continues to actually finish these games. The graphics pretty good on this, like the style of the graphics, like the actual gameplay, it's pretty decent. We'll actually play through this game at a later date. Switches to activate and open the doors. Graphics are pretty decent on this game, and the soundtrack's pretty awesome as well. generally hate any games with any platforming elements, because I just can't time things, you know, jumps or positioning yourself, moving yourself onto platforms. I just can't do it. My brain can't figure it out, comprehend it. I just cannot do it. Whereas my son, Ethan, who's 10, he can just whiz through these games. It's just unbelievable. I'm sure back in the day, well, I still wasn't that great at them, but I could get through some of these games because these were the only games that were available to us back in the day. So didn't have lots and lots of money or you know, emulators and things like that to run all of these old games. So the only games I got to play were games I could afford to buy or that were bought for me. And yeah, so generally when you got a game, you did play it to death. So eventually you would be able to get through the game by just constantly playing it. Because we've got so much choice now, and all the modern current generation of gaming, which I think is a lot easier than these old retro games, you know, because you can just play the game till you complete it. You don't get limited continues and everything else. So you know you're going to get through the game, and because there's a vast amount of systems and games to play, I still like playing the old retro games. I don't dedicate a hell of a lot of time to these to one particular or one individual game. So yeah, my patience wears thin with these. But that was Ultra Core, and that's included on the Analogue Mega Sg. I'm just going to call it the Mega Sg from now on. I hate saying the Analogue Mega Sg constantly. Okay, so I've powered off the system, rebooted it, and you get this animation yet again. Let's see what else we can try. So that was Ultra Core. As you can see, that's permanently installed on this system. It's the only game that's installed on this system. As far as I'm aware, you can't actually permanently install other games like the SNES Mini, NES Mini, and the other mini consoles and things like that, because this isn't emulation. You need to actually use original cartridges. So we've just loaded up a cartridge there, selected Run Cartridge. As you can see, we get this error message to say that this cartridge has been developed for use outside of North and South America. So this was a PAL game. So again, it's doing exactly the same thing. So let's see if we can sort this out. We'll have to go into the settings. Now this is obviously because I set the settings, I think, to USA in the system. So let's go in and actually try to change this if we can find it. There we go, it's in the hardware. So yeah, I've set it to NTSC. So let's set this to PAL and see if we can get this game to run, as this is a PAL cartridge. Is a bit annoying, but there you go. Okay, we have the game running. Okay, we've got Streets of Rage 2. This is an original PAL cartridge. Absolutely love this game. Okay, we've got the scan lines on. I think I left the scan lines on, but it looks absolutely great, to be honest with you. It really does. Sounds quite good as well. I mean, if you saw my review for the at games, FLASHBACK HD, then which is obviously emulation. The sound in that device is off, but this sounds pretty decent, and that's the thing that they always seem to get wrong with the clone consoles, is the sound. The sound just always sounds off, but this sounds pretty good. Doesn't seem to be glitching, plays just as you would expect it to on original hardware. This game does seem slow to me. I would actually like this game on, because this is PAL, and this is what I grew up with, was the PAL format from the UK originally. So unfortunately we got PAL. We didn't know we were getting slower speed games. PAL obviously runs slower than NTSC, and yeah, you guys in America and other NTSC zones were so lucky, but we just got the rotten deal. We got the compressed screen and slower speed, and it was a real issue. And it was only sort of later years when I picked up. I just went modded or region modded console and just NTSC games, and never really looked back. So it's weird playing PAL games now. I would love to get an NTSC copy of this game, just to test the speed difference. I've always played it on PAL though, so I do love this game. It's a great one. Told you guys my initial memories of this game when I picked it up, when my TV broke, my CRT old school TV which we had back in the day. It broke on release of this game, so all weekend I was playing this game on a little portable black and white TV until I had to wait till the following week when the repair guy came round and fixed my colour TV. But I finished the game and everything else on the black and white TV, and I thought it was amazing on that. So when I actually got the colour TV fixed, it was just absolutely unbelievable. This to me was my first real taste, and in my opinion this was bringing arcade gaming to the home, because this to me was an arcade beat 'em up, Streets of Rage 2. The first one was superb, and I still love playing the first one, but this just took it to a whole other level. You've got like the multi-stage levels where you go from scene to scene just on one sort of each stage. Levels are quite long on this game, a wide variety of enemy, even though a lot of them do have sort of colour palette changes. It's just really good. Quite big sprites on some of the characters. The variety of moves is superb, but this plays really well on this Mega Sg. Land when you're thrown, you can land by pushing up and jump. That's pretty good when the enemy tries cheesing it and just throwing you. Good, that move, because it's almost like a special move, but it doesn't take any of your energy off, because there are some special moves that you can do, and they if they connect with the enemy, or even if they don't, if you miss, they take some of your health down, I do believe. Sorry guys if I'm playing this game a little bit too long for your liking. It's just that I always get carried away with the Streets of Rage games, and I can't actually just finish playing the game until at least I've done a level or done a stage. That's just my OCD, so please forgive me. These leather-clad babes with the whip, long whip. Okay, we're going to the outside now. The nice rain effect there. Yeah, no graphical glitches thus far, which I've experienced on other systems. Again, you can land that when the boss there throws you, who was the bartender. Music is absolutely fantastic, especially on these boss stages. It was the same on the first one as well. It's just iconic, really, to the actual series of Streets of Rage games. I absolutely love them. I love the first two in particular. The third one is a little bit hit and miss with me, to be honest with you. And it's the one that I'm least familiar with, but I don't like it as much. And that's the first stage done of Streets of Rage 2. Okay, we've come out of that. We've loaded another cartridge, so let's... Oh, we'll go into the settings first, actually. Let's play around with some of the options. I think we'll probably just mess around with these scan lines. We'll go to no scan lines. We'll just leave it at that for now. Run the cartridge. And this is another one of my favourites. This is Mortal Kombat. This is a game that I had a lot of experience with, especially in the arcade. That's where I first experienced this game. I was actually addicted to it. Used to, in my lunch break, go to the little arcade close to my work, and I used to there's only 7 characters you can choose in this game, but I used to just put 1 credit in, which I think back in the day was 20 pence in the UK, and used to just complete it with do a playthrough with each and every character. Sometimes I got a little bit stuck, especially on the mirror match, the endurance matches. You got 3 endurance matches where you fight 2 characters, or sometimes Goro would just go mad, kill me, but most of the time I could get through it with just 1 credit. As you can see here, a little bit out of practice. Very out of practice, but I always liked the Mega Drive version. Mega Drive version of this game, I think was the best home port at the time. In terms of not so much graphics, the SNES I think had the upper hand, but just the fact that you can enable blood mode and have all the fatalities in, which was censored. This game caused a lot of problems at the time. So just because of that, really, not so much graphics and the sounds, I think the SNES wins there. I did his fatality there, but yeah, in terms of the violence, which is what Mortal Kombat was all about, I think the Genesis or Sega Mega Drive version had the edge. For me, I love that version. I didn't get this until later on. It was the SNES version that I had, and I was really disappointed that it was all censored. I mean, we didn't really have the internet back then. Well, I didn't anyway, and so you couldn't read about it. I didn't buy a lot of gaming mags, so I just assumed it was going to be an arcade port. So I paid a lot of money for it. It was quite expensive when it came out as well, and they'd censored it. But looking at this, graphics are still pretty good on this game, on the Sega Genesis. Looks good, sounds good, plays good on this system. So it's definitely one that I would play again. Then we have another fatality. That's quite easy to do, and with Liu Kang the screen never turned black. You don't get that sound as well that you get in the arcade. So we might come out of that anyway, and not get too carried away with just individual games. Let's have a look at these scalers. Okay, I've put that on 4 times, whatever the hell that does. I do not know. Not gone in depth with reading up on these on the different options. I'm not sure what the screen is doing there. Okay, so this is a multi-cart. I don't know what the screen was doing. It looked like it froze. So this is a multi-cart. This is a genuine original one, and this has got like 3 games on it. Sega games: Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, and Shinobi. So let's try Golden Axe, one of my favourites on the system. Love this game back in the day. I really did. Still do. Okay, let's pick our character. Go for the barbarian warrior guy. Graphics look really nice on this actually. Look at that, look really sharp. Sounds good as well. Sound is usually messed up on certain emulation devices for this game usually, especially the Pandora's Box. I know that that's the arcade version, but for some reason they can never get this game right. The sound is awful on it. I have done a gameplay video of that. Here we've got these little midget dwarf magician things that drop these potions. It's annoying when you get on. It's one thing I always remember about Golden Axe. When you get on any of the creatures or dragons to ride, the computer enemy can just get you off of it so quickly. Whether or not they run and shoulder barge you, or they quickly hack and slash you. Look at that. She just ran and barged me off of it. So even though you're more powerful on the creatures and you can inflict more damage and kill the enemy, well, in theory, quicker, you're more vulnerable. You can be hit or knocked off of it quite easily. Can't get that little dwarf at the top. Shoulder barge you. Here we go. Is this the bosses? I think they're 2 big dudes. Oh, and these other little minions. Let's get on this thing. Oh. Aha, beat you to it. Oh, not that time. Right, it's the big dudes. You off as well. Usually find just jump and slash them is pretty good, but also I will be using my magic in a second. There we go. Got different levels for the magic, depending on how many potions you pick up, and that is that stage done. Okay, we'll come out of that. Let's try another game. So we'll try Streets of Rage. This is Streets of Rage 1, the original game. I've still got a lot of love and a lot of great memories of this game. Music's absolutely fantastic. I think the games absolutely, look absolutely incredible on these on this system. Like many people, I enjoy playing these games on original hardware, so that's the original cartridge on the original console, and that's how I like playing these games and enjoy them the most. Connected up to usually a CRT TV. I've got a little portable CRT, and that's the only CRT TV that I've kept. I love playing them on that. Arcade games, I love playing on my arcade machines. Again, that's the CRT TVs or CRT monitors, especially the Astro City, which has got the 29-inch monitor. I love playing on that. But also these converters where you can connect the old consoles to the modern TVs. I like the just recently picked up the scan converter, the OSSC, and I'm really impressed with that, what I've seen so far. I will be doing a future video on that, but yeah, it just enables you to connect your old retro consoles directly to your, albeit through the scan converter, to your modern TV, because not everyone has kept the CRT screens, and if you still like to collect the old consoles, then it just gives you a way to experience that, and it does look good, and you can put the scan lines on and everything else, and almost make it look like a sort of CRT, give it a CRT effect on the modern TVs. And modern TVs generally huge these days. I mean, my main gaming TV is 55-inch, so it's great playing these old consoles on that. Obviously, set the aspect ratio to the correct size. Don't have it on full screen or widescreen or whatever. It doesn't really look correct. Sometimes I do that. I'm a bit lazy, or if I'm playing a game with my kids who don't want to see black borders or black lines on the screen, they ask loads of questions. I just can't be dealing with that. Generally, if I'm playing a game on my own, I'll have it at the correct aspect ratio. Here we have the great music, the great boss music, end of level. Using a special here, you summon your police car, your colleague, who's got a rocket launcher. So generally that's the way I like playing the games, but clone consoles, especially this Mega Sg, okay, it is quite a bit of money. When you pay out for it and you get it shipped, I had to get this shipped from the US, so to Australia it cost me a fair amount of money. So, but it's a good option, especially if you don't have the original hardware, the original console. You just want to hook it straight up to your modern TV without actually going through another device, and away you go. It's you know, it's a great solution. There's definitely a market for this machine. I mean, I still bought one, and I've got the old retro original consoles. Here we're just playing around with some options there. I just like to have different options to play these games, to be honest with you, and to have this, it's a great way to capture gameplay in HD, because the system's obviously HDMI, plug it straight into my Elgato capture device, and straight away can capture some good quality or great quality audio and visuals. Now this is one of my favourite games on the system. This is Zombies Ate My Neighbours, or Zombies, as this was known in the PAL region. They dropped the Ate My Neighbours title, so they thought that would be too graphic. It also suffered some censorship. The SNES version is the best version of this game. Graphically and sounds, it is better. There are a few differences between the versions. I think on the game over screen, this has got like a blood effect, and also the radar there, which you can see, is taking up some of the screen, but it's permanently on the screen. On the SNES version, it's not automatically on, so you have to go through the hassle of switching it on. But I think the gameplay screen, viewable gameplay screen, is actually bigger and larger. But this doesn't bother me. I don't have a Super Nintendo, so I had to get this version. This is a PAL version, so it does run slower. I've never actually played the NTSC version, but I am going to likelihood is I'm going to pick an NTSC USA copy up of this game. I like the box cover of it. It reminds me of the old Dawn of the Dead and things like that. It's got a weird cover on it, but I actually quite like it. So I'll probably pick a copy of that up as well. I've never completed this game, but first experience of this game was my younger brother, who's 9 years younger than me. Got this when it was out, so he was only a young kid. And yeah, he got this on the Super Nintendo. We didn't have a lot of money, so I think that was his only game for about a year or something. And he actually, as a young kid, he finished the game, all 50 odd levels. Remember him fighting a giant spider and going up against a giant spider and all different monsters, and he actually finished the game. It was unbelievable, no cheats as well. So yeah, he's fantastic at games. It's pretty good, pretty decent now. He's obviously moved on to current generation of consoles. He doesn't play retro games, but yeah, he did finish this. I never have, but it's one that I do definitely want to play through. Looks and sounds great. This is one that did have a few issues on the At Games FLASHBACK HD. There was a few graphical issues. The side of the screen, for some peculiar reason, was green. Well, you've got the black borders here, it was green on that, so I'm not sure what was going on. Also, there was some sound issues, but that was happening with most of the games that I tested out with that system. This looks and plays really, really well. This is such an enjoyable game. So you basically collect all of these people that are scattered around, the victims. You save as many as you can. Got them all then. And save them before the zombies and the mutants get them. And then you go through, and then the exit door opens and you go through that. So that's out of that game. Didn't want to get too carried away. Run the cartridge. Okay, we've got another game here. This is Pit Fighter. This is on the Genesis, so this is a USA copy, and I've had this for quite a while. As I've said many times, one of my guilty pleasures, this game. Absolutely fantastic. Love it on the arcade. That's obviously my favourite version of the game. I have the arcade PCB. It's got a few issues at the moment, so I haven't done any videos on that. Hoping to get that repaired though. But outside of the arcade, this, in my opinion, is the best home port of the game. SNES version is horrendous. I do intend to do a comparison video at some point between this Genesis version and the Super Nintendo version. I don't own a Super Nintendo, but I do have the SNES Mini, and I do have this game on that. So yeah, it's just unplayable. But on this, yeah, the character sprites aren't huge, not like the arcade, but still looks virtually the same. The characters in the background, got weapons and stuff, I believe, that you can still pick up. You've got all the moves there. Many people will argue that this game never looked great to begin with, but yeah, I won't say a bad thing about this game. I absolutely love it. Reminds me of the old Van Damme films, the AWOLs, things like that. We've knocked out the Executioner. Got all these weapons and objects that you can pick up. Love doing that flying jump kick, kicking him when he's down. Doing a few kicks. Even the music I absolutely love in this game. I think it's really fitting. I know this game gets really low reviews, but there is quite a following on this game. I've spoken to quite a lot of people who really love this game, but yeah, it looks and plays just as well as it ever has done on this Mega Sg. So this is a USA cartridge, so that's PAL and USA. I've now tested on this, and they run absolutely fine. Love that kick. Okay, had to come out of that before I get too carried away, and I do get carried away with that game. Keep going in, checking the options because of the cartridges that I'm booting up. I want to make sure it's on the correct region. Okay, so this is Streets of Rage 3. Now this is a reproduction cartridge. I never paid for this. I don't really buy pirated items in general. Don't like having them in my collection. Certainly wouldn't pay money for them. But this was given to me by a friend, I think, back in the UK some years ago. So I use it just for testing purposes. I don't own this game on original because it is a lot of money to buy, and I don't particularly like the... it's not my favourite game in the series, but as you can see, the graphics are absolutely superb in this, and the yeah, the sounds are as well. And this runs absolutely fine on the Mega Sg. Special move there that gets you out of trouble when they grab you. I don't have much experience with this game. I certainly never owned it back in the day on original cartridge. I think I'd moved on by that time when this game came out. And I think because of that, that's why this game gets quite a high price when it comes up on the auction sites. Because it was one of the last games released for the system, it's I think a lot of people have moved on, so therefore there's not many copies out there in comparison to other games that were released on the system. It generally happens with a lot of games on the system. You usually find the last game usually goes for a lot of money. You know, Nintendo 64, for example, I think Majora's Mask. You know, many people have had Ocarina of Time, me included, but then Majora's Mask, many people have moved on. That got released. So generally now on systems, the last games on the system I tend to pick up. An example is my son, not me, had a Wii U. I bought loads of games for him for that system. Well, when I say loads of games, I think we've got about 40 games or something. You know, definitely all the A-list titles, the actual Nintendo games, like the Mario games and the Zeldas and all that. But yeah, the last Zelda game on it, which came out on the Switch, we had on the Switch, my son's got that, which is Zelda Breath of the Wild, and that was actually released on the come out of that game there. That was released on the Wii U as well, and yeah, that was going for quite a high price when the system when it was released. We had moved on by that time, but yeah, I managed to get a copy of that on eBay, I think around Christmas time. So I got a copy of that. I haven't played it yet, but I thought, well, I've got the other Zelda games on the Wii U, I will grab that as well. So yeah, I've got that one. But that was one of the last games, but I expect that to, over the years and decades or whatever, to increase in value, as it was one of the last games on the system. Here we have another reproduction cartridge. Again, this was given to me by the same guy that gave me Streets of Rage 3. I don't own this on original. I would like it on original, but it is quite a bit of money. It is quite pricey, but I still might get this one. And yeah, this is the Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And yeah, looks great, this game. Plays great, sounds great, and looks great on the Mega Sg. Just as I would expect. Love that, you can get hold of them and just slam them from left to right. I hate these little droid things. They're a pain in the fucking arse. As usually quite effective is the flying jump kick, which it is in most of these beat 'em ups, to be honest with you. Just hit the jump and then the kick button. See what I mean about those droids will come out of that. Okay, so now we've got in here, this is the Everdrive that I've got. Now this is, I'm not even sure if this is like an official one, if there is an official one, I think there is. But yeah, this was one I've had for quite a number of years, so think this might be a dodgy Everdrive. I'm not too sure. There's that guy, isn't it, who makes all these Everdrives. I forget his name, begins with a K. But yeah, I'm not sure that this is an official one. I do intend to get one. I've been picking up a couple of Everdrives from Stone Age Gamer, so he has the official Sega Genesis Everdrives on there, so I might pick one up. But yeah, we'll just go through some of these games. Let's try this game. Okay, what's going on here? So it takes the ROM and it dumps that into the flash memory, from what I understand, which it did then. That was successful. And then a blank screen or black screen. So I've rebooted the system. Let's try that again. Let's try a different game. No point trying the same ROM, even though I know that that ROM does actually work. Okay, so this is a problem. Now I have heard from others that the Everdrive does actually work, so could be because this isn't an official one, or it's just a Chinese knockoff or whatever. I'm not too sure. So we'll reboot the system. Okay guys, what I actually had to do was I had to upgrade the firmware on the Mega Sg, which it's recommended that you do anyway. That was quite a simple procedure to do. I did want to film that and capture it for you, but I wasn't able to. But yeah, quite a simple process. But as you can see, I've done that, and the games from the Everdrive are now actually loading. So with the current, with the firmware that this shipped with, it wasn't able to read my Everdrive. So whatever update they've done, they've fixed that basically. So it's always best on these devices that when you get them to, if there is a firmware or software update, always update it. It goes without saying for anything really, and because there's usually bug fixes and other fixes and things like that they apply to the system, and just generally make it better. In theory, that's what happens. So that's what they've done with this, and as you can see, the Everdrive, which I was thinking I would have to buy a new Everdrive, which I will anyway, but just not at the moment, is working absolutely fine. So this is Gunstar Heroes, which is again one of my favourite games. It really pushed the system, the Sega Genesis, to its limits, and you know, graphically and what's going on the screen and everything else. I think this was one of the later games to be released on the system. But as you can see there, I brought up the settings menu while in the game. So this was actually explained in the instruction booklet and in the options how to do this. So you can just change a few of the options while you're in the game instead of just having to power off and going into the main menu. This is another game I'd actually like to, actually love to have on original, but yeah, it's quite expensive at the moment. But I will get a copy at some point when I've got the funds. But we've come out of that. We've gone back into the Everdrive menu, so we'll test out some other games while we're in here. I know this video's gone on so far already quite some time, probably longer than I wanted it to, but these unboxing ones and system tests, I like to be thorough. I like to test everything. I would anyway, so I may as well film it for you guys just to show you what works and what doesn't. But so far I am quite impressed with this. Okay, so that has loaded. And this is Mortal Kombat 3. The Mortal Kombat games, I always loved back in the day playing them in multiplayer. There was a group of us, mates at the time, and I think my brother was there as well. So I've got two brothers and two sisters, but my younger brother, just slightly younger than me, a year and 10 months. So we were so close growing up. So we kind of had the same circle of friends. But I remember as we got older, we were playing this. We were playing the Mortal Kombat games on the, in particular, Mortal Kombat 2. But yeah, we'd play it in multiplayer, because if you play it against a computer, it gets to a certain stage and they're just unplayable. The computer, they'll just counter every move that you do. If you try and jump out, you know, jump and attack them, jump and kick them, they'll kick you first, and it's just no fun. So yeah, used to have more fun. It's always better playing beat 'em ups against another human opponent, and yeah, had great fun playing these games. But this is Mortal Kombat 3. This is least familiar with this game, more familiar with number 1 and number 2. This is Sub-Zero, albeit a different look. Yeah, as you can see, beats me to every move. Oh, this is shocking. I was definitely better at this game back in the day. He's going to get me, isn't he? Let's get some of his health down. Oh, could have let me get away with that. And I lost the first match. But yeah, that's Mortal Kombat 3. I think we will quickly get out of this game. Okay, loading another game into the Everdrive, or from the Everdrive I should say. Sometimes it takes quite a while, as you saw there. I suppose depending as well on the size of the game that you've just loaded into it and the game that you're copying or you want to run on it next. So it erases one and copies the other. Okay, that's interesting. So that was Super Street Fighter 2 and we get a red screen. I'm wondering if the ROM is faulty that I've tried using. Okay. So that is just not working, is it? Yeah, red screen. So for some reason doesn't like that ROM, but that's no fault with the Mega Sg. So let's try loading another game. Okay, so this is Golden Axe 3. Again, I'm not too familiar with this game. I am with the more so the first one, obviously, and the second one. But this one I never had back in the day. I don't own this now. So this is Golden Axe 3. Let's give this one a go. So I've got all those characters you can choose. Like you had to unlock them though. Character sprites definitely a lot bigger than the original game. I'm not sure about that magic, that's a bit pants. Always do that in games. I select the magic or special weapon straight away by accident. Always hit the wrong button. Graphics are good. Still prefer the original though. Looks and sounds good. Oh, you've got these little dwarf hunchback magician men or whatever they are. Little dude as well. I know in my videos, guys, I always say dwarves, midgets and little dudes, and that's because I'm a little dude myself. I'm only 5'6". I'm very, very short, and my wife's shorter actually. She's 5'4", so I'm only slightly taller than her. But yeah, so I've always had the I've always been called a midget and little man and dwarf and everything else. So I've always been vertically challenged, always the smallest at school, smallest growing up. So yeah, please don't take offence when I use all this terminology to describe vertically challenged people, because I'm vertically challenged and really I'm just taking the piss out of myself. So yeah, that's just how I grew up. The circle of friends I had, those are the names I was called. Yeah, great mates, didn't I? But yeah, we all took the piss out of each other. That's how we grew up in the UK, and I've kind of, it's hard to grow out of that tradition really. But yeah, I don't know how I ended up so short really. I've got a couple of tall uncles. My dad's quite short, but he's still taller than me. My mum is short. She's 4'11", and I've got two brothers who are like 5'9" and 5'10", so I really really lost out. I don't know what happened to me. And my son Ethan, who's 10, I mean, I think he's going to be taller than me. His feet are all almost the same size as mine, so it's bloody ridiculous. But anyway, guys, drifted off the point I was trying to make there. Is this a boss? Really great graphics on this and sounds, but yeah, for some reason, like all series of games, they try and overcomplicate it when the original and more basic games were generally the best in the series, in my opinion anyway. Yeah, I don't like the magic in this game. I think it looks a bit pants. That seems to work against him. Prod him with my sword. Sure how much longer this video is going to go on for. Been going for quite some time already, but we'll keep going, keep testing some bits and pieces. I would have done this anyway, so I may as well record it and upload it as part of this video. Okay, so here we are trying a Sega Master System game, and as you can see, it loads. Obviously, this Mega Sg came with the... oh, this is a strange game, isn't it? The Mega Sg came with the adapter, came with the Master System adapter, so it does actually play Sega Master System games, which is great. I don't actually own any original games, though, to test, so it's great just to test some Master System games from the Everdrive. Obviously, you don't need to insert the adapter in to play these. Just run straight off the Everdrive. This is a strange little game. Not really too familiar with Master System games, to be honest with you. I don't really... I did have a Master System back in the day, and oh my god, this is one game that I had on it. Let's try this one. They load quicker because they're smaller ROM files, so don't take as long to copy over to the memory. Double Dragon. I had this back in the day on my Master System, and I'm pretty sure that my dear old dad back in the UK, in good old sunny Southend-on-Sea, I haven't spoken to him for a while, and I'm sure he's still got this console with this game, with these original games, but I'll probably never ever see that. A bit of a bastard actually when it comes to mine and my brother's old toys and computers and stuff like this. Yeah, he doesn't ever give us any of them, he just keeps them, and I don't know why. He knows that some of these items are worth some money. I mean, whether or not they are now, he smokes a hell of a lot in his place, so everything's probably smoke damaged anyway. So would I even want it back? Probably not. I've never smoked in my life, but yeah, there was quite a lot of stuff there. There was an Amstrad CPC 464, a few other computer consoles and games and toys, Transformers, Star Wars, everything. He's got the whole bloody lot. It's ridiculous. We have asked him for this stuff, and for some reason he won't give it to us, but anyway, that's another story for another day. I love the way that these guys burst through this this wall. This is still a pretty playable, pretty decent game. Music's good. Always was good on Double Dragon. I I'm not actually sure which is the best home port of this game. And in fact, I think this was the only version I ever played. It's certainly the only version that I ever owned. Well, when I say own, it was me and my brother, who was less than 2 years younger than me. I mentioned earlier, it was me and him. We apart from little smaller toys, we never got anything that we didn't have to share. So grew up, always had to share. Flying jump kick. Oh, listen to this music. This brings back memories. Yeah, this is a pretty decent game actually. This was my favourite game on the Master System. Oh, he throws me. There's a few graphical glitches there. I'm not sure whether that was on the original. Oh my god. Whether it's just the it's this Everdrive. I'm not sure. We'll continue. Yeah, there's a lot of flashing going on, a lot of graphical glitches. I don't have an original system or original cartridge to test this, so we'll just put it down to the ROM on the Everdrive, I think, because the other games have worked fine. I've got to kill this big dude. Oh, finished him off with a flying jump kick. And that was Double Dragon. So let's have a look. Let's go through a few more games. Okay, so this is Golden Axe. I've never ever in my life played the Sega Master System version. I always had the Sega Mega Drive version of the game, but this is weird. You've only got one character, but you can select which magic you use. God, bloody hell. He moves fast, doesn't he? Definitely on something. Look at the speed of him. So yeah, it doesn't look... Oh, magic's good though. It doesn't look as good as the Mega Drive version, but you can't really expect it to. It doesn't look too bad. Obviously this isn't my preferred version of the game. You haven't got the other characters, but I generally use this character anyway, so... The enemy sprites are pretty decent. Plays quite well on this Mega Sg. Still got the animal ride on beasts. Okay, we've still got these little midgets. A lot easier to hit than the Mega Drive version. This doesn't actually play that badly. I'm quite surprised by it. I know that there's also, I've not played it, but there's PC Engine version of this game. I've seen videos of it and it's flipping terrible, which is a real shame because other Sega ports were pretty decent on the system, so they really messed that up. But yeah, this actually looks better than that version. Look, you've got these big dudes. They still look like the big dudes. They're probably not as big, but still looks decent. Magic looks good. Probably gonna die soon. Oh no, is he gonna kill me? Oh, I managed to kill them. Okay, we'll come out of that one anyway. Super Street Fighter 2, we'll give this one a go again. It's probably not going to work. It's strange really, and this is one of my, well, this is my favourite version of Street Fighter 2. I actually have this one on original hardware on the CPS2. I have the original CPS2 board of Super Street Fighter 2. Please check out my video if you haven't already. I uploaded, I think about a month ago now when I picked this up, a month or two. Had this running in the Sega Astro City. So I do like this version of Street Fighter. Don't believe I've ever played the Sega Mega Drive version before. Takes a while to erase and copy the ROM file over. No, and a red screen again, so that one's definitely not going to work. I'm not going to try that one again. I have to look into that though, maybe get another image of that. Let's try another Sega Master System game. Okay, so this is Streets of Rage. I can't remember if I've ever played this on the Master System. I think I was always Sega Mega Drive for this game. Okay, you can see that this is all scaled down, these menus, and the intro screen as well, and the options. Okay, definitely look how small the your character sprite is and the enemy sprites, but I mean it is still Streets of Rage, isn't it? It's strange playing this after you've played the Sega Genesis version. I mean, this to me is like a portable version that you find on a handheld device. Oh my god. It's actually more difficult as well than the Sega Genesis version. And the hit detection seems to be off as well. So, yeah, back in the day, if you had a Sega Master System, which I did, and you had a best friend who had, or a brother, well, no, a brother, because you could still play that, but if you had a best friend, or even someone you knew who had the Sega Mega Drive version, you would feel hard done by, wouldn't you? I mean, this is like a different game really. It's difficult, seems a little bit off. This is actually frustrating to play, and this is one of my favourite games on the Mega Drive. Because of my OCD, I'm trying to get to the end of the level, because I can't just put it down now, even though, yeah, I'm getting to grips with it, but oh my god, what was that I just picked up? Ah, here we have the boss. Actually made it. And even the boss music isn't the same, is it? Okay, I've had to come out of that, guys. Okay, we're trying another game. Let's just load this in. So this is Streets of Rage 3, but this is a like a hacked version of it. So not sure what's hacked about it, but let's have a look. Okay, so I am sure what's hacked about this by looking at this. I've selected the woman, and this is the character it's given me, which is some weird gimp wearing leather underpants with stockings. I mean, I'm not even going to give a description of it. It's just ridiculous. What? He's running rather weird as well, and he's doing some weird hand movements. I mean, what is he doing? Oh, this is crazy. And does it say his name is Ash as well? The funny thing is that's my youngest brother's name is Ash. So yeah, I'll probably have to wind him up about this. I couldn't pick that baseball bat up then for some peculiar reason. I mean, why would anyone make a hack like this? What's the purpose? Yeah, you can't pick any weapons up. It seems quite powerful though. Well, certainly getting through the level okay, probably easier than I usually do, so I'm sure I'd actually play this game again though, not with this character anyway. Pick up the roast chicken that's conveniently placed under a pile of tyres, which replenishes my health. And just the same as Streets of Rage 2 really, there's multi-stage levels. Where you have a lot of different sort of backgrounds or subsections of the levels. My opinion, some of these levels can be pretty long, maybe too long sometimes. Don't really have a lot of patience these days for games, but here we are at the end of the level, and this is Shiva, who was the bodyguard of the main boss at the end of Streets of Rage 2. Really annoying to actually fight. It's got all of these annoying moves. Use continue, which is pretty poor. I think I'll use a different character, see what happens. Oh, okay, so it's only if you select the girl you get that weird camp guy to use, that we've used for most of this level, but we'll finish this boss using Axel, who's a tough character, and pick up that roast chicken. Shiva gets rescued and dragged away. Stage 1 clear. So we'll come out of that. Okay, so this is Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition, which is a great edition of Street Fighter 2. I love this on, I love Championship Edition on the PC Engine. Got that on original Hue card, and I did a gameplay, full gameplay video of that. Please check that out. But yeah, really good version of the game. Probably my favourite version of the game. But this looks pretty decent. I did want to pick up a copy of this on the Sega Mega Drive just to compare the two, but this looks pretty good. Zangief, who's kicking my ass, so I have to retreat to a cheesy fireball to finish him off. But the Mega Sg, really impressed with this, to be honest with you. It's played, well, it's played pretty much everything that I've put into it. I mean, the hack games, FLASHBACK HD didn't play the Everdrive. I'm not sure whether any current updates or modifications enable it to play that, but to be honest with you, I'm probably not going to use that system again. I will be using this though, Mega Sg. Really impressed with it. It is quite a lot of money for what it is, especially if you own the original systems, which I do. But I wanted to test this out. It's a nice, convenient way of playing these old retro games on, in HD on a modern TV, and enable you to capture great gameplay, or great quality gameplay anyway. But no, I'm really impressed with this. Glad I bought it. Hope you guys liked the video. If you do, then please, or if you did like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe. If you do that, then it just makes it worthwhile for me to make these videos. I enjoy making them anyway, but when you get appreciation, or people are at least watching them and liking your content, then it makes it all the more worthwhile and makes you want to, or makes me want to make more videos. But yeah, please like and subscribe, and I hope to get more videos up on my channel, more gameplay videos through this Mega Sg as well. I intend to do in the future. That's Dowsim killed, finished off. Gameplay's absolutely fine, looks fine, sounds fine. So that is brilliant. Ryu, who sometimes kicks the absolute shit out of me. Oh, that was a nice kick to the head, roundhouse kick to the head. Okay, I'm going to finish up soon, guys, so I hope you enjoyed the video. And probably gone on for a bit too long, like all my videos do, but just wanted to give this a thorough test. I do recommend this Mega Sg. I think it definitely serves a purpose. It's a great device. It's well put together, well built, sturdy product, and the games look and sound great on it. Let's try this final round to see if we can beat Ryu. Or Ryu, if you called him Ryu. I've always known him as Ryu, so that's what I'll stick with. This is going to be the last game that I play though, guys, and test on this. I don't want this video going on for 3 hours. He's going to kill me. Am I going to win? Am I going to get him? Damn it. Cheesy dragon punch just as I jumped. Okay, cheers for watching, guys. Really appreciate it, and I'll catch you in another video. Cheers, guys. Bye.